All right, here's a wild thought. What if I told you a simple, kind of old school business saved $100,000, not by some genius new product, but just by looking at the information it already had? Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly the story we're going to unpack today. Let's get into it. So let's meet our main character, a company called Acme. Picture this. They've been around for about 20 years, selling novelty hats, the fun kind you'd find in a shopping mall. They've got a little website, but really, they're a classic brick and mortar kind of place. And this is the number that just completely turned their world upside down. $100,000. And we're not talking about revenue or profit here. This was cash they were basically just lighting on fire without even knowing it. A massive leak they had no idea even existed. So that really brings us to the big question, the mystery we're trying to solve here. How on earth did a novelty hat company, of all things, find a six-figure problem that was hiding in plain sight? Well, the answer, it all comes down to taking their messy, scattered data and turning it into something truly powerful. Okay, so before we get to the solution, we've got to understand the problem, right? And for Acme, the issue wasn't that they didn't have information. Oh no, they had plenty. The real problem was they couldn't connect any of the dots. You see, Acme was sitting on a gold mine of data. I mean, think about it. Every sale from their cash registers, all their inventory records, customer surveys, years and years of sales history, it was all there. But here's the catch. Each piece of that data was locked away in its own little box, its own system, and none of them could talk to each other. It was exactly like having four people who each know one piece of a secret, but they're all in separate soundproof rooms. Totally useless, right? So what's the solution? Well, you got to get everyone in the same room. For Acme, this meant they had to start this big project, what we're going to call the Great Data Migration. It was this epic journey to move all that scattered information into one single central place up in the cloud. And this diagram right here, this is going to be our map for that whole journey. It's a classic data analytics pipeline. And just like any road trip, it's got a starting point. If you look all the way to the left, you'll see the first step, data ingestion. This part is all about one thing, grabbing all that raw data from all those different places, sales, inventory, you name it, and just pulling it all together into the cloud. So how they actually do that? Well, they used a cool tool called PubSub. The easiest way to think about PubSub is like a universal inbox for data. It's serverless, which is just a fancy way of saying Acme didn't have to worry about managing any of the complicated hardware or software behind it. It just works. It can listen to all of Acme's different systems at the same time and collect every bit of data into one nonstop stream. It's basically the front door for everything. All right, so far so good. All the data is officially in the cloud. But wait a second. Just dumping everything into one big pile creates a whole new problem. You get what people in the industry call a data swamp. It's messy, it's disorganized, and you can't find a thing. So the next absolutely crucial step is to turn that messy swamp into a beautifully organized library. And this really breaks down the two key stages of that transformation perfectly. First, all that raw data lands in what's called a data lake. Think of it like a huge, cheap reservoir. You can just pour in all your raw, unfiltered information in there. Something like Google Cloud Storage is perfect for this. But here's the thing. You can't really do anything with data in a lake. For analysis, you need a data warehouse, and BigQuery is a great example. This is your organized library. It's where all the data has been cleaned up, sorted, and put on the right shelf, totally ready for you to use. Okay, let's jump back to our pipeline map for a second. See how this is all coming together? Right after data ingestion, the data moves into data processing. This is basically the cleanup crew. And whatever comes out of there flows straight into the data warehouse, which, for Acme, was BigQuery. See? We're definitely making progress down the line. This whole cleanup process actually has a name. It's called ETL. It stands for extract, transform, and load. It's pretty simple, really. You extract the raw data from the lake, you transform it, clean it up, make it all look the same, and then you load it into the warehouse. And tools like Google's Dataflow, they're like this amazing automated factory line that just makes this whole thing happen smoothly in the background. Okay, so let's recap. The data's been collected. It's been cleaned. It's all neatly organized in the warehouse. Now comes the moment of truth. This is the whole reason we went on this journey in the first place. It's finally time to start asking the questions that hopefully are going to lead us to that $100,000 aha moment. And our map shows us exactly where we're headed. We're at the final destination, all the way on the right, using all this amazing data for applications and insights. This is the payoff. This is where you bring in the tools for analysis and visualizations that let the actual business teams at Acme, the marketing folks, the sales managers, finally see what their data has been trying to tell them all along. And the perfect tool for this job is something called Looker. It's what you call a business intelligence or BI platform. It plugs right into the data warehouse, into BigQuery, and it works its magic. It turns all those endless rows and columns of numbers into beautiful charts, graphs, and dashboards that anyone can understand. You don't have to be a data scientist. It's like the super user-friendly window into their brand new, organized data library. And as soon as they looked through that window, they saw it. It was staring them right in the face. Because their sales data was finally connected to their inventory data, a report popped up showing this massive, glaring problem. The marketing team was spending a ton of money on an ad campaign for a specific hat on the West Coast, but that hat was completely 100% out of stock in that entire region. And that's where the $100,000 was. It was the entire cost of a marketing campaign that was physically impossible to succeed. Think about it. Customers would see an ad, click on it, get all excited to buy this cool hat, and then land on a page that just said out of stock. It was a complete waste of money. Sure, but it was also a terrible experience for their customers. And it all happened just because two departments' data weren't talking to each other. So, Acme's journey, right? Going from that messy data swamp to making a decision that saved them a ton of money, it's really a perfect playbook for any modern business. This isn't just about fancy technology, it's about a whole new way of thinking. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, it really boils down to this simple 4-step journey. First, you ingest. You get all your data from everywhere into one place. Second, you store and process it, turning that chaos into clean, organized order. Third, you analyze and visualize it, so you can actually find those hidden stories. And finally, and this is the most important part of all, you act. You use those insights to make smarter decisions that either save you money or create brand new opportunities. And that really leaves us with one final big question to think about. Acme found $100,000 in wasted ad spend hiding in the gap between their sales and inventory systems. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What valuable insights, what huge inefficiencies, what game-changing opportunities are hiding in your data right now, just waiting for you to connect the dots?